start that first run. Alrighty, Mr. Rich, that was a solid first run there. Looking clean so far. Alright, George, whenever you're ready, sir, go for it. And gentlemen, when the car at the start line leaves the start line, the next car may pull up to the start line. George, well done. That was a beautiful run there. All right, Dory, whenever you're ready. Well done there, Dory. So, that was a pretty clean run until that very last chicane there. You nicked a cone on the right-hand side there. So, unfortunately, that will be a 2-second penalty. All right, gentlemen, hang tight for just a brief moment here. We're going to get that cone picked up, then we will continue with the session here. All right, Dave, whenever you're ready, send it. All right, Mr. Dave, that was a clean run there, sir. Well done. All right, Chaz, go for it. Smooth driving there, Chaz. That was a nice run, sir. Well done. And Ollie, whenever you're ready. Well done there, Ali. That was a clean run. I don't see any cones down so far here. All right, gentlemen, that brings us into round 2 of 3 of our competition here, guys. So far you each have at least one rundown on the board here. Now, don't be afraid to get a little more aggressive here, guys. This is a very low-risk environment. The worst-case scenario, you hit a cone, you get a penalty. Well, guess what? You still got one more run after this one to try to clean that up. So, do remember, gentlemen, this is a competition here. Whoever wins this is going to get to leave home with a nice certificate declaring them the champion, and even more important than that, the bragging rights that come along with it. Rich, whenever you're ready, let's go for round 2 here. All right, Rich. You came in a little hot there into that brake zone, knocked the brake cone over. However, that was over a second quicker than that first run there. Let's hang tight for another brief moment while my partner over there picks up this brake cone here. And gentlemen, just so you know, if you ever attend an actual autocross event out of here, technically there, Mr. Rich, that would have been a DNF. Knocking over a brake cone is technically kind of frowned upon, but here, it's a low-risk environment, no big deal, all right? All right, George, go for it, round 2. All right, George, nicely done there. That was just under a second faster than your previous run. Nice driving out there. All right, Mr. Dory, round 2. No cones this time, all right? Go for it. All right, Dory, so that was about 0.2 slower than the raw time of your last run. However, as I look out my windows here, I don't see a single cone knocked over, so nicely done out there. That was some clean driving. All right, Dave, if you're ready, go for it, round 2. All right, Dave, way to shave the time down, man. That was just about a second quicker than your previous run there. Good work. All right, Chaz, send it, man. Chaz, good driving there. That was about a second and a half faster than your previous run. However there, Chaz, you got into that break a little bit before the brake cones. That could have been even quicker if you just carry that momentum all the way up to those brake cones. Overall, though, way to shave the time down. All right, Ollie, finish out round 2 strong. Ollie, nice work. That was about a second and a quarter faster than your previous run there. Okay, gentlemen, this is going to be our final round of competition here. Everybody has at least one clean run on this board here. So, with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get into round number 3. This is your final chance to be crowned the Autocross champion. Do with that information what you will. Rich, go for it. Alright, so Rich, that was your fastest run there by just about a half a second over the previous run. You got a little squirrely in that second chicane, but I don't see any cones knocked over, so well done there. Alright, George, final chance here. Go for it. Make it count. George, oh no. Man, the raw time, that was your fastest time there, buddy, by about 2/10. However, that very last cone right here before the finish line got you. Overall, that was pretty solid, man. That was a good run there. All right, Dory, final chance here, man. Have some fun. Send it. Keep it clean. story. So I think you already know what I'm about to tell you here, man. So that was not your fastest run. I think you lost it a little bit down in the back corner section there, and on top of that, you did nick that cone coming out of the chicane on the left there. And I say nicked, I'm using that word generously. No worries there, man. You still got a clean run on the board here. This is still shaping up to be a pretty close competition so far, guys. All right, Dave, go for it. Round 3. Dave, nice work. So, this unfortunately was not your fastest run, but it was only 0.2 slower than that second run there, so way to keep it consistent. Chad, send it. Chaz, man, that was your fastest run there by over a second there. Nice work, man. Nice work. All right, Ollie, go for it. Finish strong here. Ollie, that was your fastest run by a little over 1/10 of a second there. Way to consistently take that time off. Okay, gentlemen, that's going to conclude our autocross competition here. So at this point in time, go ahead and press stop recording on your PDR system here. I'm going to